All right, Peter, welcome in. Ryan Trengrove here, Class A Pro recording. One other thing I want to say that's kind of funny about golf. This is the nature of golf. I have a student. He's from Mexico. He shows me on his phone one day. He shows me this video in Spanish. I didn't know what it said, but he said the guy is saying that when he's hitting his driver well, he can't hit his irons. When he's hitting his irons well, he can't chip. When he can't chip, did we talk about this? And it's so funny because like that to me is expected in this game. Like I'm always wondering that week, what am I going to be doing? I don't even know. And so it's funny because like right now I'm working on my alignment. I feel like I'm hitting the ball well, but sometimes I'm misaiming myself. And I was at a practice round like a few days ago, and I was putting a stick down on the course, like on the ground to make sure I'm aimed because I felt like I was aiming too far right too often, and so that's what I'm working on. But it's like a month ago, if you asked me, I would have said I think I aim perfectly, and that's not a problem. It's like I don't know why that is in golf, but that's the nature of the game, I guess. Okay, so if you switch with me real quick, let me just talk about the difference in chipping and pitching. Yeah, so a chip is a ball that's usually a shorter shot usually, and usually it rolls more than it flies. Okay, and so like if you were to describe it and like characterize it, you'd say like, okay, it doesn't really fly very far in the air and it rolls more.
So it's not about the distance, it's about how it behaves.
Exactly how it behaves is really kind of the thing. And so the best way to think of like a chip would be like a shot, like more like you're bowling it, and like a pitch would be like a shot where you're like kind of like lofting it on a middle trajectory, I would say. And then a flop would be a shot that you're lofting like really up and trying to get it to go really up in the air and have almost no roll. That would be a flop. A pitch would be a shot that would fly a good distance and it wouldn't roll a lot. It would roll less. I would expect my pitch to roll less than my chip if I hit it correctly. You know what I mean? Because usually a chip, I don't want it to stop. I want it to roll. Like I want to get it on the green and rolling like a putt a little bit. Like I like it to roll out, I would say like 10 to 15 feet generally. You know what I mean? It, Obviously, super fast greens or firm greens, sometimes it can roll out more, but that's fine. Then I'll pitch it instead of chip it. And so generally in a chip shot, what I'm doing is my ball is in the middle of my stance, right? And then I have my feet are close together, and then I have this leaning forward with the handle forward also. And see, the handle forward is making it low, is de-lofting it, and even a bigger I've even done chips like this where I played even further back, and it really rolls, the whole way. You know what I mean? But most of the time I don't do that. I usually just play it in the middle, have a little bit of shaft lean, and then it'll fly a little bit, and then it'll start to roll. And so that's usually my stock chip, I would call it. But sometimes I'll play the ball back, deal off my club, and hit more of a running chip, I would say, than even a normal chip does, right? And then a pitch shot for me, I really don't pitch it much when I'm a short distance. It's usually a chip when I'm inside of 20 yards, I would say. I feel like I'm pitching the ball when I get to like 30, 40, and 50 yards. And so that's the other thing is chips are generally smaller shots and pitches are kind of like medium distance shots. You don't really pitch it 10 yards. You could chip it 10 yards or flop it sometimes 10 yards, but it's really not. I don't usually use a pitching technique. The pitching technique is the club is more vertical. It's more of a standard setup position. So like I'm setting up for a pitch shot, I'm setting up like this, and then during the swing, I'm shifting my weight and moving forward like a normal golf swing, kind of like the triangle technique with some weight shift. And then as you see, that takes off a little higher than chip goes. And so that's what when I use a pitch, I'm pitching it over a bunker from like 30 yards away, or I'm like if there's like a 2-tier green, I'm trying to pitch it up onto the second tier. And those are times that I would pitch it, or if I'm pitching it over water, some sort of water feature. I wouldn't chip it over a water
Yeah.
feature usually.
Right. So it comes
Yeah,
off.
exactly. Unless there's a ton of green to work with, because as soon as it hits, it's gonna run, you know? And then there's people that will chip like long clubs, like 7 irons and things with like which have a lot of roll. Some people are really into it. I played golf with a state champ, this guy, that, I was like, "What is that?" He's using the air blower. Um, this guy, I forget his name right now, but he chips with a 4 iron, and all of his balls are rolling a lot. Like, I've never seen somebody roll the ball so much. Like, he was rolling it through rough and stuff, and I was like, to me, that's dicey. Like the ball is going to get too much grab in the rough and it's going to get stuck in there. And then the other problem I have with that is I find it really difficult to control the depth with it rolling so much.
Yeah.
Like it's
It'll
like
take off.
it's just gonna be gone. Like if I start trying to chip with a 4 iron, I'm gonna overhit it at some point. So he had this crazy feel for rolling it like that. And some people like to do that. Some people are like, oh, I like to chip with my 7 iron because it's easier and it feels like I'm putting, but I'm just using a seven. And that's acceptable. I mean, some people even chip with a hybrid, and it's like a chip putt, they call it, where you're, using a hybrid, and it's like a chipping technique where you literally, you play it again, maybe in the center, a little bit of handle forward, and then you give it one of those, but it'll roll a lot because it's the hybrid and the loft of the hybrid is so little.
So little.
So if you're really struggling, they always say grab your hybrid or a 7 iron and use a chipping technique, which is, remember, the chipping technique is leaning left, handle forward a little bit, and that'll kind of like be a little bit easier on you because it'll get there. Because some people struggle with chipping where they hit the mud, or they don't get it correctly hit, and then it goes nowhere. You know what I mean? And they flub it like a foot or something. And so anyway, those are my thoughts on chipping versus pitching. I hope that helps.